I seem to get sick a lot. When should I call my doctor? If you find that you're getting sick frequently or experiencing persistent health issues, it's a good idea to consult a healthcare professional, such as a primary care physician or a specialist, to determine the underlying cause and receive appropriate guidance. Here are some situations in which you should consider reaching out to your doctor. Frequent infections. If you're experiencing multiple infections within a short period, especially if they are severe or prolonged, it could be a sign of an underlying immune system issue. Persistent symptoms. If you have symptoms that don't seem to improve or keep recurring, such as persistent cough, fatigue, fever, or digestive issues, consult your doctor. Recurring respiratory infections. Frequent respiratory infections, such as sinus infections, bronchitis, or pneumonia, might warrant medical evaluation. Unexplained weight loss. If you're losing weight without trying, it's important to get checked by a healthcare professional to rule out any underlying health conditions. Chronic fatigue. If you're experiencing persistent fatigue, even after adequate rest, it's worth discussing with a doctor to explore potential causes. Suspected allergies. If you suspect you have allergies, especially if they are affecting your quality of life, a doctor can help identify triggers and provide management strategies. Changes in skin or moles. Any changes in the appearance of your skin, moles, or unusual growths should be evaluated by a healthcare provider, as they could indicate skin conditions or even skin cancer. Persistent digestive issues. If you're experiencing ongoing digestive problems like stomach pain, diarrhea, or constipation, it's important to consult a doctor to determine the cause. Immune system disorders. If you have a family history of immune system disorders or if you suspect you might have one due to frequent infections, a doctor's evaluation is essential. Worsening chronic conditions. If you have pre-existing chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, or autoimmune disorders, and your symptoms are worsening or not well controlled, consult your doctor. Concerns about medications. If you're taking medications that might impact your immune system or if you're concerned about drug interactions, consult a healthcare professional. Travel history. If you've recently traveled and are experiencing unusual symptoms or health issues, especially in regions with specific health risks, consult a doctor. Remember that a healthcare professional can provide personalized advice based on your medical history, symptoms, and circumstances. If you're unsure whether to seek medical attention, it's always better to err on the side of caution and reach out to your doctor for guidance. How do infections spread? Infections spread through various modes of transmission, which depend on the type of pathogen, such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites, causing the infection. Different pathogens have different properties that determine how they can be transmitted from one person or organism to another. Here are the main modes of infection transmission. Direct contact. Infections can spread through direct physical contact between an infected person and a susceptible individual. This contact can involve skin-to-skin contact, mucous membranes, like the eyes, mouth, and nose, or other bodily fluids. Examples include touching, kissing, sexual contact, and contact with open wounds. Indirect contact. Infections can be transmitted indirectly through contact with contaminated surfaces, objects, or materials. Examples include touching doorknobs, shared utensils, toys, or contaminated surfaces in healthcare settings. Droplet transmission. Respiratory infections can spread through droplets expelled when an infected person coughs, sneezes, talks, or breathes. These droplets can land on the mucous membranes of others, causing infection. Diseases like the flu, common cold, and COVID-19 can spread through droplet transmission. Airborne transmission. Some infections are spread via tiny particles that remain suspended in the air and can be inhaled by others. These particles can travel longer distances than droplets. Examples include tuberculosis and some forms of fungal infections. Vector-borne transmission. Infections can be transmitted by vectors, which are organisms that carry pathogens from one host to another. Common vectors include mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, and other insects. Malaria, dengue fever, and Lyme disease are examples of infections spread by vectors. Foodborne transmission. Infections can be transmitted through the consumption of contaminated food or water. Contamination can occur during food preparation, handling, or storage. Bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi can cause foodborne illnesses. Waterborne transmission. Infections can spread through contaminated water sources, especially in areas with poor sanitation and inadequate access to clean water. Diseases like cholera and giardiasis can be transmitted through contaminated water. Fomite transmission. Pathogens can survive on surfaces for varying periods. People can become infected by touching a contaminated surface and then touching their face, mouth, or eyes. This is a common mode of transmission for the common cold and other respiratory infections. Preventing the spread of infections often involves practicing good hygiene, using appropriate protective measures like masks and gloves, maintaining a clean environment, and following proper food safety practices. Vaccination also plays a critical role in reducing the transmission and impact of infectious diseases. What are the effects of aging on the immune system? Aging can have significant effects on the immune system, leading to changes in its function and responsiveness. This phenomenon is known as immunesenescence. While the immune system generally maintains its ability to protect the body from infections and diseases, certain aspects become less efficient over time. Here are some effects of aging on the immune system. Reduced immune response. The immune response tends to be less robust in older adults, which can result in slower and less effective responses to new infections. This can lead to increased susceptibility to certain diseases. Weakened adaptive immunity. The production of new T cells and B cells declines with age, affecting the adaptive immune response. This can reduce the body's ability to remember and effectively fight off previously encountered pathogens. Increased autoimmunity. Aging can lead to an increased risk of autoimmune disorders, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own cells and tissues. This is due in part to changes in immune regulation. Inflammaging. Chronic low-level inflammation, known as inflammaging, becomes more common with age. This chronic inflammation contributes to various age-related diseases and can impair immune function. Thymus involution. The thymus, where T cells mature, undergoes involution, shrinking, with age. This leads to a decline in the production of naive T cells, which are crucial for recognizing new pathogens. Impaired vaccine responses. Older adults may have reduced responses to vaccines, leading to lower protection from certain infections. This is why some vaccines, like the flu vaccine, are recommended specifically for older populations. Altered cytokine production. The balance of cytokines, immune signaling molecules, shifts with age, which can affect immune responses and contribute to chronic inflammation. Decreased function of natural killer, NK, cells. NK cells, which play a role in fighting viral infections in cancer cells, can become less effective with age. Less effective wound healing. The immune response involved in wound healing and tissue repair can be compromised, leading to slower healing in older adults. Thinner mucous membranes. The mucous membranes in the respiratory and gastrointestinal tracts become thinner and less effective at trapping and expelling pathogens, increasing susceptibility to infections. Reduced bone marrow function. The bone marrow's ability to produce immune cells may decline with age, affecting overall immune cell counts. It's important to note that individual variations in the effects of aging on the immune system exist, and some older adults maintain strong immune responses. Additionally, a healthy lifestyle that includes regular exercise, a balanced diet, adequate sleep, stress management, and avoiding harmful habits like smoking can help mitigate some of the negative effects of aging on the immune system. Consulting with healthcare professionals and staying up to date on vaccinations. are also important strategies for maintaining immune health as you age. How vaccines work with the immune system. Vaccines play a crucial role in training the immune system to recognize and respond effectively to specific pathogens without causing the actual disease. They stimulate an immune response that mimics what would happen during a natural infection, leading to the formation of memory cells that provide long-lasting protection. Here's how vaccines work with the immune system. Introduction of antigens. Vaccines contain weak, inactivated, or pieces of the pathogens, antigens, that are responsible for causing diseases. These antigens are specifically selected to elicit an immune response without causing severe illness. Recognition by immune cells. When the vaccine is administered, immune cells in the body, such as dendritic cells, macrophages, and B cells, recognize the antigens as foreign invaders. Activation of immune response. Immune cells process the antigens and present them to helper T cells. This activates the adaptive immune response. B cell response. B cells are activated and differentiate into plasma cells. Plasma cells produce antibodies that are specific to the antigens in the vaccine. Antibody production. Antibodies are proteins that can recognize and neutralize the antigens found on the surface of pathogens. They bind to the antigens and mark them for destruction. Memory cell formation. Some of the activated B cells become memory B cells. These cells remember the antigens encountered during the vaccination and can mount a rapid and strong response if the same pathogen enters the body in the future. T cell response. Helper T cells also play a role in activating other immune cells and enhancing the antibody response. Cytotoxic T cells are activated to destroy infected cells directly. Immune memory. Memory B cells and memory T cells remain in the body after the initial immune response subsides. This creates immunological memory, which allows the immune system to respond more quickly and effectively if the person is exposed to the actual pathogen in the future. The goal of vaccination is to provide immunity against a particular disease without causing the individual to become sick. By priming the immune system with harmless antigens, vaccines essentially teach the immune system how to respond to a real infection. This is why vaccination is a crucial tool for preventing infectious diseases and has been instrumental in reducing the incidence of many deadly diseases around the world.